Sup YouTube, it's ZapdosTCG here, and welcome back to our TCG video on my channel. On this channel you get daily Pokemon TCG content, so be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. We are well on our way to hitting 80,000 subscribers, so let's get it by the end of next month. That would be a beautiful dream come true. With that being said, we're going to be checking out our set, mini set review about the Surging Sparks, a set that actually comes out after our Stellar Crown set. So we have not even gotten the cards yet from Stellar Crown, but we already have a little bit of a glance into the future with the Surging Sparks set coming out in the beginning of November. We're going to be talking about all the card scans that were revealed, and we're going to be giving my honest opinion about these cards. If you guys are excited, let me know by rocking the hell out of the like button. Only requires one tiny second of your time and helps out the channel tremendously. And if you want to support the channel, there are of course our beautiful sponsors, links down below to get some percentage off your products. With that being said, let's dive into this mini set review, because this is only going to be a little bit of a teaser from Surging Sparks, and it actually releases on November 8th with over 250 cards. So a ginormous set after the set Stellar Crown. If you want to learn more about Stellar Crown, there are links down below in, of course, the description, so you can check out some Stellar Crown videos as well. With that being said, let's dive into it. The first one that we see here is Execute, the attack that it comes back with. If you go first, you can use this attack on your first turn. So you can, of course, attack. Otherwise, you cannot attack on your first turn, but this is a special case. Search your deck for a card that evolves from it and put it on this Pokemon to evolve it. So it can actually evolve on the very first turn going first. How cool is that? A turn 1 Exeggutor. Is Exeggutor any good? We're gonna have to figure that out. It actually, it could be a Dragon type. It could also evolve into Alolan Exeggutor. There's a more little, very interesting artwork here with some volcanoes in the background, so cool art. And Shiinotic, it's been a while since I've seen this Pokemon. I remember it in the video games fondly. So Shiinotic here, relaxing light ability once during your turn. If this Pokemon is in the active spot, you may use this ability. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now asleep. With a 2 retreat cost, you have to go in and out of the active position, I suppose, but making the opponent asleep, that is actually very annoying, because if they flip tails, they cannot attack and they cannot retreat. So there are definitely great things about being asleep, or actually putting the opponent to sleep. Also can work together with, of course, I think there's a Jinx that works together. If you're asleep, you're instantly one-shotted. So things to think about for sure. Shiinotic also comes back with an attack, flip coins until you get tails, but nobody ever uses attacks like that. The next one is Gouging Fire, a 1-price Gouging Fire. Look at the artwork, kind of, beautiful if you ask me. An ancient card, so you can use Professor Sawdust Vitality on it. There have always been Gouging Fire EX decks that have succeeded in specific tournaments, and now you have a 1-price Gouging Fire. You actually can attack for 30 damage for 1 energy. That's not bad. And there's also 30 damage can actually knock out stuff like Cleffa, for example. Or if you're hitting a grass type Pokemon for weakness, it can also sometimes get knocked out. Blazing Support. If your opponent has 4 or fewer prize cards remaining, this attack does 70 more damage. Meaning you're slapping 170 damage output. Why is this relevant? Because you can actually one-shot stuff, like example, the Teal Mask Ogerpon EXs. I think that's one of the more prevalent Pokemon that are weak to fire. Think about a Dialga V-Star that you can also one-shot because of the Blazing Support. So yeah, a cool 1-price Pokemon that is going to be a nice addition for the Gouging Fire deck. And then we have Black Kyurem EX. A very insane artwork here. It's a water type. It has a 3 retreat cost, so monstrous retreat cost. Luckily, we already know how to power up water type Pokemon. We have Baxcalibur, ladies and gentlemen, and this is a basic Pokemon that you can drop energies onto with Super Cold, the ability of Baxcalibur. 90 damage. If your opponent's active Pokemon is a Dragon type Pokemon, it is now paralyzed. We know that paralyzation is the best special condition in the TCG. That means they cannot attack, they cannot retreat, they have to wait a turn until they're no longer paralyzed, which is awesome. So if the opponent doesn't have a switch out or a switch card in their hand, you're actually going to be screwed over. So I can see Black Kyurem EX in combination with stuff like an Iono or an Unfair Stamp, and then you can paralyze the opponent and then finish it off later. Why do I think it's a little bit mediocre in my opinion? Because the only Dragon type Pokemon that are actually relevant, even though it's like one of the best decks in the format, Regidrago V-Star is going to be a situation where if Regidrago goes first, they can actually sprinkle away and damage out the little Frigibags before they evolve. Are we going to be able to put Black Kyurem EX in other decks? I'm afraid not at this moment. So I don't know how to feel about the Pokemon, but you get automatically paralyzed, and automatically paralyzation is definitely a great thing. And also its attack, Black Frost, 250 damage, and you slap 30 damage to yourself. So is it a Regidrago counter? I don't know, because Regidrago does play Prime Catcher, does play sometimes Scoop Up Cyclone, does play Switch. So if they just have a Switch, you're pretty much not in luck. But in combination with Disruption, this could actually be kind of interesting. But they only slowed them down for a turn, I suppose. Isn't it better to one-shot with Chimpao? I'm having mixed feelings about this one. Moving forward, also you could maybe if you're up against a random Hisuian Goodra deck, you could also paralyze that, I suppose. There's a Quaxly, evolves all the way into Quaxwell, and then of course into Quaquaval here with the up tempo. Once during your turn, you may put a card from your hand on the bottom of the deck. If you do, draw cards until you have 5 cards in hand. Drawing cards until you have 5 cards in hand is great. I remember playing Magnezone Prime back in the days of Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Triumphant, and that was very great. Why is this card not great? Well, we've seen countless amounts of cards like this. We even saw more recently like a Swampert that draws 3 cards, and it also didn't see any play. They are stage 2s, but if of course, the stage 2, like this card cannot like get off with a powerful attack, it most of the time will not see play. There are way better cards out there like Revavroom, which is going to be able to discard an energy and then draw cards until you have 6, and it's a stage 1. There's B-Barrel in the format, which automatically lets you draw cards, so I'm not too big of a fan, but if you're playing like Quaxwavel, Rogue, tier F deck, you could actually include a Quaquaval, I suppose. Smoochum, more baby Pokemon joining the format. I love baby Pokemon. They all come back with free retreat, 30 HP, and an attack for 0 energies. This time around, Smoochum has the Happy Kiss. Search your deck for up to 2 basic Psychic type energy cards and attach them to your bench Pokemon in any way that you like. Are we going to be seeing a world where decks like, for example, Dragapult uses this, because on the first turn they're actually not doing anything. Attach retreat and then accelerate 2 psychic energies to 2 of your Dreepies and off you go. So that I can see is a world where Smoochum sees plays in Dragapult. Other than that, if you want to be playing a psychic deck, there's a Gardevoir, but Gardevoir already accelerates energy. So I think that's one of the only few examples where Smoochum can actually see play. Latias EX with the Skyline ability. You're a basic Pokemon, have no retreat cost. Having no retreat cost on basic Pokemon. How good is this? Just include this in a Miraidon deck. Instantly having free retreat is so awesome. No longer you're gonna have to worry about the annoying finding the rescue board, having a switch card in hand and all that. Free retreat is nice because if every of your basic Pokemon have free retreat, you could just Generator on your lightning type Pokemon and always no need to worry about the free retreat, so you can draw into it, actually retreat into your attacking Pokemon. So that's kind of cool. I love this effect. Basic Pokemon having free retreat cost. You could also see this working out with something like Iron Valiant Dong deck. Who cares? It's a cool ability to have. The attack you probably will not use. Latios. Skill Dive. 50 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. Jet Hat, but this is a generic bad card in my opinion. There's Flittle. 40 HP. Flip a coin of heads. During your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage. So this is going to be the optimal Flittle in my opinion. You can stall off a turn with its Splashing Dodge attack. Finally, we're here as Spatra. Devolve one of your opponent's evolved Pokemon by putting the highest stage evolution card into the opponent's hand. You're way better off using TM Devo, right? That actually devolves all of them, so this is not a great card. Gimmighoul, 70 HP. Search your deck for 2 basic energy cards and put them into your hand. This actually might be the preferred Gimmighoul for the Gholdengo deck. The more energies you have in hand, the better it is actually to get the Make It Rain attack, slap the one-hit KOs you always desired. So a great addition for the Gholdengo deck. There is a Trapinch, which can call your friends and get some basic Pokemon up in the bench. Vibrava, but finally Flygon EX is a Tera Pokemon, so mind that you can actually use the Crystal, Sparkling Crystal onto it, so you need 1 energy less to do some funky attacks. You can slap 130 damage for 1 energy. You may switch this Pokemon with a Pokemon on your bench. So hit and run with the Flygon. Hit and run, give them the Mimikyu, give them a Cornerstone. I don't care, you can just hit and retreat for 130 damage output is actually not bad. And its attack here, 100 damage to each of your opponent's EX and V Pokemon. Spread the field with just 1 attachment, a Sparkling Crystal, and then 1 way to get the extra energy on. By turn 2, you can do 100 on every one of the opponent's V and EX Pokemon. Is that enough? We've seen attacks like this before, but they don't actually pay off all that well. Passimian, 20 damage for each of your basic Pokemon in play. So you actually, if you have a basic deck, have 6 basic Pokemon in play. You can one-shot an Iron Hands. How cool is that? Klefki that draws cards. Meh. Durwuladon, 1 energy, 50 damage. That's not bad, by the way. Is Archulodon EX actually any good? Let's figure it out. We have 300 HP and the Alloy build. When you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn, you may attach 2 basic Metal Energy cards from your discard pile to one of your Metal Pokemon in any way that you like. Okay. You can set yourself up, right? When you play this Pokemon from the hands, 2 basic Metal cards from the discard to your Metal Pokemon any way you like. Yeah, you can set yourself up. 300 HP stage 1. 220 damage output during your opponent's next turn. This Pokemon has no weakness, so you can get rid of your fire weakness as well, so Radiant Zards do not like obliterate you, so I don't see this being bad. If you go second, already slap 50 damage, and then 220 damage as the number to knock out basic V or basic EX Pokemon, most of them. Maybe you can slap even a Vitality Band if you want to hit and pray after Iron Hands or something like, for example, Roaring Moon EX. And the cool thing is that this guy comes back 130 HP, which is great. So your Iron Hands prove, I suppose. So I don't know. Maybe you can also set up other combinations, evolve into Archulodon EX, and then set something up that is very powerful. I don't know. It seems interesting and definitely great for deck building. Goldango, if you evolve from Gimme Gold this turn, it's a 1-price Goldango slapping 120 damage. Interesting. Definitely as a one-up in the Goldango deck could be interesting. And then we have Alolan Exeggutor EX. So as you can see here, the synergy with the little Execute was there. You can use this on the very first turn and boom, out of nowhere you have an Alolan Exeggutor instantly on the very first turn going first. How amazing is that? Coming back with the Tropical Fever. 150 damage, choose any number of basic energy cards from your hand and attach them to your Pokemon in any way you like. So, Alolan Exeggutor in combination with Earthen Vessel will just get all those energies into play, and you can set up whatever you feel like. Seems pretty nice. Then the Swinging Sphere, flip a coin. If heads, knock out your opponent's active basic Pokemon. If tails, knock out one of your opponent's bench basic Pokemon. Flipping coins, whatever happens, you're knocked out. That's kind of funky. If you're up against a big basic deck, think about Roaring Moon EX, Miraidon, Iron Torrents, for example. All big basic decks, you just knock them out by flipping the coin. This is cool. Now that I think about it, this is also a Dragon-type Pokemon. So, as mentioned, there was one of them that actually can instantly paralyze with the Black Kyurem. Black Kyurem could also be an answer to Alolan Exeggutor EX. There's an Altaria out there, and also, now that I mention it, this is a Dragon-type Pokemon. You know where this is going, right? Slap this fella in the discard pile and start using Regidrago V-Star to copy-paste any of those attacks. This is gonna be buffing Regidrago V-Star even further. Next, Altaria. Search your deck for 2 basic energies and attach them to your Pokemon any way you like. Meh. And also a coin flip attack if heads prevent all damage. This is a bad card. Time Control Dialga. Search your deck for 2 cards and put them in put those on top in any order. Probably will get Ionoed and you draw those cards. I guess it's an okay-ish card. I don't know. Probably will not see play. Little Applin turns into Flapple. Flapple, 20 damage for each damage counter on your opponent's active Pokemon. As mentioned, it's a Dragon-type Pokemon. Put it in the discard pile. Start using Regidrago V-Star with the Apex Dragon. You can copy-paste this. If the opponent already has damage through the means of something like a Kyurem attack, a Dragapult EX with the Phantom Dive attack, this can be a nice addition. Then there's this one. During your opponent's next turn, the defending Pokemon can't attack. So it can be very annoying with Appleton, using Regidrago V-Star, slapping down the opponent next turn. If they can't attack, in combination with Iono, they're trapped for a turn, and things can go go crazy. Probably won't be played, but it's a nice addition indeed. Next up, a little Swablu, Rufflet, and Braviary. Switch in one of your opponent's bench Pokemon with their active, and this attack does 40 damage to the new active. Nah, it's bad. Hyper Bell. You can use this card only if you go second, and only if it's your first turn. Okay. Aggro decks, I suppose. Search your deck for a supporter, reveal it, and put it in your hand. This is very great. Hyper Bell. Play some Hyper Bells, maybe as a 4-elf, so you instantly find Professor Sada, or you find Arven in your Miraidon deck. Yeah, hyper-aggressive turbo decks might use this for sure. Yeah, get the supporter you want instantly. Some decks even play Pokegear, but maybe this is way better. You play Pokestop, you can find this. Dusk Ball, back from the past. Look at the top, the bottom 7 cards of your deck. You may reveal a Pokemon you find there and put them in hand. Shuffle the other cards back in deck. Has some synergy, funkily enough, with Iono. So, but if you Ionoed and there was a Pokemon in there, maybe you attack, you get a prize card, there were basic Pokemon you find there, you get Ionoed, and then Dust can operate. I don't know. Can this even work? Like, you can also maybe combine it. It's like Great Ball from the bottom, right? Yeah, it's Great Ball from the bottom. Is a Great Ball better than Dust Ball? I'll leave it up to you. Disruptive Letter. Your opponent counts how many cards they have in their hand, shuffles them and put them on the bottom of their deck. Then the opponent draws that many cards. With the 0-6 Sheem, or whatever it's called from Shroud of Fable, you can actually do some funky combos. 0-6 and then bam, they are up to 3 cards. Very good cards, might I add. And then Disruptive Letter puts those good cards on the bottom, and then they can only get 3. And control decks, this might be very, very disruptive, and that's why it's called the Disruptive Letter. I can definitely see this being played. Megaton Blower Ace Spec. Discard all Pokemon tools and special energies attached to each of your opponent's Pokemon and discard any stadiums in play. Like, you blow everything away. All the special energies, like this is like the Lugia killer, right? Like, everything is gone. And then you play Iono and even Countercatcher and Archeops, and boom! that is just a funky Ace Spec. Is it better than Prime Catcher? Is it better than Unfair Stamp? I don't know. There's the Dragon's Potion. Heal 60 from your active Dragon Pokemon. You want to be playing a Goodra deck with a lot of these Dragon's Potions and like make sure the opponent never knocks you out. Counter Gain is back. I think the last time we saw this it was in Lost Thunder. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is a very cool card, allowing you to attack for 1 card's energy less if the opponent has less remaining prize cards than yourself. So if you have more prizes than your opponent, bam, Counter Gain and off you go. A very great way to get some combo attacks off. This definitely will be played because it's Arvin searchable. There's Drayton. Look at the top 7 cards of your deck. You may reveal a Pokemon and a trainer card you find there and put them into your hand. So you get a Pokemon, you get a trainer. Yeah, I'll stick to my research or my Arvins and all that, and Ionos. A Surfer! Yo, this actually came all the way from Honolulu here to be printed in a card. And switch your active Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon. If you do, draw cards until you have 5 cards in hand. So you can switch and you can draw cards. I can definitely see this being played because switching and drawing cards is a combo effect that is very great. Not only can get out of nasty situations, you can get some combos going with something like an Iron Valiant if you want to switch an in out of the active position. Maybe even with Palafan EX, who knows. Latias Appeal. Switch in one of your opponent's basic Pokemon to the active spot. The new active Pokemon is now confused. Okay, this is Bossasaurus with Confusion, but only works on basic Pokemon. Okay, which Pokemon do we want to like confuse? I think Boss is obviously way better, but if you're in a big basics deck, this could be a very funky way to make sure you boss up but the opponent's attacker probably will already be in the active spot regardless. Not a big fan of this card. Rich Energy is going to be an energy providing a cardless energy, and when you attach this card from your hand, you draw 4 cards. A very great Ace Pack because drawing cards is great, but Prime Catcher and Fair Stamp, it has to compete with those powerful Ace Pack cards already, so I'm not too keen on it. So yeah, I'm a big fan of the Alolan Exeggutor, which is going to be very, very funky to use. Probably not going to be its own deck, but it's going to be slided into the Regidrago V-Star deck. A hit and run strategy deck could be created with stuff like Mimikyu and Cornerstone. Latias can be a nice addition to decks that want free retreat, like for example, the Miraidon deck. Gouging Fire gets a new friend. Black Kyurem is going to be a way to counter Dragon type Pokemon if they ever become too popular, but you will definitely need Disruption. Talking about Disruption, Disruptive Letter in combination with the already existing 0-6 seems fine. And the Hyper Bell is maybe going to be placed into Professor Sawdot decks, in my opinion. Or yeah, this is probably going to be it. I'm also a big fan of Counter Game coming back, so comeback cards and mechanics are always great. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, let me know by rocking the hell out of the like button. Helps out in ridiculous ways. You have no idea. And as always, if you want, you can also click the little notification bell so you're up to date instantly when a new video hits the channel. Have yourself a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for brand new Pokemon TCG content. Peace.